And you guys get an hour from me tonight.
Okay, so we're recording. This is the September 13th meeting of the freelance community. And I think probably our most important meeting of the year, because it's going to be a lot of stuff about the conference and the convention coming up. So just kind of quickly, we know that Stephanie has resigned. We know that that position is open. I just want to say that out loud so that we can be poking our noses around and maybe recruiting people at the conference. But we want very proactive, energetic, that type of person. So if you see someone who might be great, don't just ask them to do it. Come and let's have a little chat about it, and that sort of thing. Upcoming meetings, I just want to get this out of the way really quickly. We have a board meeting October 11th. Obviously, most of us are going to see each other before then. We have a board meeting November 15th. I just want you to have it on your calendars. Ginny, I'm going to ask for an update from you. We had sort of put the October event on hold. Hazel said she didn't think she was going to be running that, and she sort of assumed that that's what we were saying. Ginny went and found, I'm going to let her give you the update, actually. So Ginny, if you can give us the update on the October 24th conference.
She's on mute. There we go.
Can you unmute yourself, Ginny? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, sorry. So I went ahead and reached out to the three people that we originally thought of. Kevin, I don't have their names right in front of me right now, but I sent them in the email yesterday. Yep. And then Hillary wasn't available from Colorado, Boulder. So she sent me to another person. That person's not available either, but she gave me a couple more names. So basically I got a confirmation from Kevin Smith. He's traveling, but he said he could do a Zoom, and I told him it was Zoom. So he's confirmed. And then there was another lady that Hazel suggested that I put in the email. I hadn't heard back from her yet. And then I reached out to another contact that Hillary and her contacts led me to. So right now we have one confirmed out of the three. And then I have two outstanding that I've reached out to, but haven't heard back yet.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for doing that. And I think if we get two, I think let's do it. I think let's wait to get two, though. Let's not do it with just one person. If you can get three, even better. More, the more they can share, the better. But maybe we can get an update at the convention. Just at the end of September, we'll get an update from you. Hopefully, we'll have some people confirmed by then.
Or maybe we'll meet people.
Yeah, I was going to say Susan volunteered too as a backup. She's, I guess, received a lot of grants and fellowships, so she could talk about it. And same thing with Hazel. Hazel could talk about it. I mean, if we need to. I know Hazel, you kind of would rather defer to somebody else, but I mean, we do have a couple other people. So maybe even if we got one more, we could potentially call on Susan and or Hazel.
Okay, so let's count on this one. Let's assume this is going to happen for sure. So just if you want to, you don't have to attend that one, but we'd love to have everybody there. Okay, so that is going to be the how to find and win fellowships and grants as a freelancer. In my report to the board, I am going to put that in there, Ginny, that we are hosting that on October 24th. Just so I'm going to put it in as if it's absolutely happening. I know there's a slight chance it might not, but I'm going to count on it. Let's do a quick, Sergi, can you give us a quick membership update?
I uploaded what month are we in? September. What year are we in? September to the membership drive. We have an increase from 509 of last month to 510. Hazel, I'm so sorry with your emails. I'm having a couple of issues. I'm always having some issues, but I did get the SPJ mail merge. Because it said SPJ, there were some questions. We're trying to implement the whole welcome letter on a systematic basis. So we're trying to do mail merge. So she sent out a test from the mail merge, and because it was addressed from SPJ, it got lost in my SPJ. Not, no offense, I didn't open my SPJ email, so I didn't know it was coming from you, Hazel. So I did get that email. It did not go to my spam. I know that was one of the questions that you had, so that's good. The welcome letter is ready to go. So and I didn't realize that you wanted to meet prior to this meeting. So let's meet soon so we could talk about how to use the mail merge to kind of just blast things out and use that effectively. But in short, we have an increase of 509 from last month to 510 to this month. And I know Hazel, once she gets her hands on it, she'll do some in-depth analysis on those numbers.
Awesome. Great.
That's a lot.
Thank you, Sergi. One more programming note. I think we should not have a program in November. We keep saying we're gonna sort of skip a month, and we haven't really. So let's skip November, and maybe we can do the taxes in December. We can talk about that later. We don't have to skip November. I'm just throwing that out there. We don't need to have a big discussion about that now, but if anybody has a very strong objection to that, we can talk about that now, or we can just move on. Okay. So the convention, Susan, I think everybody saw this. Susan created a document where we can put all of our flight number, or if you're driving, arrival day and time. Please fill it out if you haven't. We can't see it until everybody fills it out. I wonder if that means you have to fill it out even if you're not going.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she said that.
She did say that. Okay, good. Thank you, Sergi, for clarifying. Ride sharing would be great to cut down on costs if we get in at the same time. I think Susan said she's like, I can get you from the airport, but then I was like, I get in at 10 p.m. So I don't know if she will want to do that or not. But if anybody else gets in later, I can stick around, or, within a half hour, we can probably share a ride. So, and I just kind of want to go down just so everybody has it. Chris, I know we haven't seen Chris for the last couple of meetings, and we've talked a lot about these things. So Chris, I want to make sure you have all this information too. So save this agenda, maybe just print it out and bring it if you want to, for everybody.
I'm actually not going to make it to the convention because I got a course I just started, which is taking a ton of my time.
Okay, are you taking it or teaching it?
No, I'm taking it. It's the Texas Master Naturalist course.
Oh, cool.
Wow. I'm taking a course on short fiction, and the end project is an actual short story, which it's way over here right now. I can't even think about it. But that's awesome, Chris. Okay, so we know Chris isn't going. I'm just gonna put Sergi, are you going to the conference?
I am.
Yeah. Okay, let me see.
I am. I'm gonna be coming on the red eyes, some ridiculous 12 something in the morning, but it was the cheap flight. They had flights for 300 or so. I was shocked. But
great.
12:15 or some thereabouts. I don't know. I filled in the information on Susan's form. So.
Perfect. Is everybody else on the call coming to the conference besides Chris?
I'm going to be there, but I don't get there till the 29th.
That's
So
right.
I will miss the Thursday programming.
Gotcha. Okay. All righty.
I don't see too many programs that I'm interested in, so I plan to park myself majority of the time at to help out at the table. Yep,
same. I'm doing that same thing.
Right.
I think Susan also is, and I think Ruth is too. I bet Hazel will too, actually. So it could be that we're all parked there, which would be great. When there's nobody there, we can be planning and plotting to recruit new people. So the freelance corner hours, just note the different time on Friday. It's only till 4:30. You do not have to stay there after that. It is closed that time. So take an early night that night. I'm hoping that you'll all come to the happy hour. We are going to have a happy hour from 5 to 7 that Friday night. So that's why it ends at 4:30. There's also another event that night that I don't think any of us would be interested in going. We never do it. We always do the happy hour on Friday night. But all the programming ends at 4:30. that day. And just so we have it here, just so I'm saying it out loud and it's recorded, it's the Freelance Corner events are the BYO Lunch and Learn, bring your own lunch or not, just come and hang out and talk. That's going to be Thursday from 12:15 to 1:30. That is the day it was last year. I wanted a special event each night, or each day, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's why I didn't double up on any of these. I know Ruth wasn't going to be there on that Thursday, but I really wanted to have one event each day.
That's fine.
And I know that Ruth was great at the coffee clutch last year, so that, you know, that can kind of be her thing too on Saturday.
I'll be there.
If you're up for it, Ruth. Okay, great. So then the 5th annual Freelance Happy Hour, I had to go back, you guys, and look. I'm like, what is this, like the 2nd or 3rd? It is the 5th Freelance Happy Hour, and it does not seem like we have done that many, but we have. So anyway, that's 5 to 7. And then the coffee clutch is the Saturday morning at 8 to 9, 8 to 9. So, oh, Susan's here. Oh, Susan, we're so happy that you're here. Ruth, sorry, Hazel, if you can unmute her. I'm not in the Zoom. I'm looking at my document right now.
One more quick thing related to the convention before I forget. I am freelance buttons. I'm going to send, rather than sending them all to one person, I'm sending about half of them to Susan and the other half to Hazel. And that way, if one of you gets delayed or god awful things happen or who knows what, they should be in somebody's hands, because I can't be there to hand them out on the Thursday.
How many do you have?
Well, I ordered 100 and I've used a few, so it's a goodly amount.
Great. Okay, good. If you have yours, if anybody has theirs from last year, bring it. I have actually 2, so I'm going to bring one and wear it, and I'll just add another one to the mix. It was weird last year. We did run out. People were looking for them. So I'm going to bring mine from last year so I don't dip into the Ruth's stock. Susan, so far we've just sort of gone down the, upcoming meetings. We have an event in October, and then just what's going on at the convention, just the kind of nuts and bolts of what's going on at the convention. And I talked about the document that you shared where we can put in our arrival day and ask everybody to.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in my car, so.
Okay. I'm so glad you're here, though. I was stressing a little bit because I wanted you here. I just put this on here. This is not nothing is set in stone, of course, but the topics for the lunch, I don't want it to turn into what it was last year when it a lot of us were there, but Ruth and I were kind of up there at the front during the lunch, and we wanted people to introduce themselves. Well, there was a lot of people who showed up, and pretty much the whole meeting was people introducing themselves and telling what they did. We really wanted that to be super quick, and people really waxed poetic about their freelance life, which was cool, but it took the whole meeting. So we decided this year we're going to have maybe pointed topics, but also we're not going to give the floor, everybody there, the ability to stand up and introduce themselves unless they're going to get up and ask a question. If you want to get up and ask a question, you can say your name and what city you're in, and what kind of
what you could do, Stacy, is tell everybody we're not going to use the time for introductions, but please make a point of swapping business cards so you know how to reach each other.
Yep, I like that. Okay.
That'll be a lesson to them what don't have business cards.
Right. And then the coffee clutch Saturday. Oh, sorry. I was going over the topics for the coffee clutch and the lunch and learn. So some of the ideas I had, like, where do you find freelance gigs? I have no problem sharing this where I find jobs. Some people do. So there might be some people who don't want to talk about that. I'm sure they'll want to listen to other people's ideas of where they find jobs, but we're not going to judge. I think it's a great source, or a great place for us to share those sources. And then maybe what has changed in the last year as a freelancer. A lot has changed. And what are the biggest issues we're facing right now? And then I thought we can we could ask, what do our members want from us? We don't hear from them that often. You know, how can we better serve them? What, maybe they can talk about sessions they'd like to see at future conventions or the online virtual programming that we do. So those are just some ideas. Any things that you have, you can add to it. I'm not going to have like a bulleted list that I read off of. It's just some ideas. The sessions, we've got one on Friday. That's the deep dive, so it's 90 minutes. We picked this day. We wanted a 2-hour deep dive, but that 2 hour was going to be on Thursday. I worked with Karen and she said, we agreed that Friday was the better time. The board agreed Friday was the better time. So we picked the Friday time slot, even though it's only 90 minutes. Karen has assured me there is nobody there after the 4:15 end time. So we can stay. I'm not going to worry too much about, like last year, we had to get in and out in 55 minutes. And if we go over, we go over. I'm not going to, well, Hazel and I were timing it and like, okay, 11 minutes is gone. Everybody move, you know? So it was a little bit stressful. Overcoming imposter syndrome. That's the one that Stephanie was doing. I'm organizing that now with Richard Gardner, the expert. And then there's 3 people, all SPJ members, all the incoming president is going to be there, all people who have suffered from imposter syndrome. A lot of people have, we hear this every conference. So that should be a pretty interesting one. And then Freelancing as a Journalist, Road to Independence. Ruth is the moderator on this one. And she'll be there with Solomon is a speaker. Is that right? Solomon's a speaker. Who are the other speakers? Yep.
Solomon, Elizabeth Donald, and Cavell.
Oh, that's
Anderson.
right. Yeah. Travell. Okay. I keep
Travell. Thank you.
And I keep trying to, I've got so many names to remember. We've had an editor back out as always, we've had an editor back out. We do have at least 5 or 6 confirmed. I'm assuming they'll all show up. A little bit of me, I'm just going to throw this out there. Ruth, what time do you get there on Friday?
I get to the airport around, I think it's 11 a.m. on the Friday.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, on Saturday. I get there around 11 a.m. on Saturday and I'll go straight to the hotel from the airport.
No, because you're doing the coffee clutch Saturday morning.
No, you get in on Friday.
You get on Friday.
What?
There's nothing on Sunday.
Oh, you have the wrong day and date on here. All right, I get in on the 29th,
oh, I do.
Whatever day that is.
Yeah, I put Saturday for imposter syndrome.
Put Saturday for all 3.
No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. Under sessions, you have one
Friday, September 29th.
Friday, and then I'm sorry, you have Saturday for both the 2nd and the 3rd.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did this really fast. Sorry about that. I actually don't know if the imposter syndrome is Saturday or Friday now. Sorry about that. So you just look online and correct that if you want to hold this as
Friday.
Friday. So Friday, you're getting in Friday. I had an idea the other day, just who knows where I was, but I have ideas in weird places and I wrote it down and I found it later. I was like, ooh, let me ask Ruth about this. For the editor freelancer meet and greet, Ruth, I wonder if, now we have editors there who are, how do we work together? How do we get work? And that's what people are there for. But I almost think it would be cool, since we have a little bit more time, to have, you had talked about the resumes. You had talked about, like, maybe we make that, like, we actually have an editor, somebody who actually will and can edit and maybe can talk to you about the most common mistakes you see, how to present.
If that's
yourself.
on the 29th, then I can do it.
It's, yes, sorry. Oh, sorry about these dates. It is the 29th. It's Friday the 29th.
And I should get in plenty of time to do that. So I'd be delighted.
Okay, so I think what we'll do, and that gives us, we've got just felt something a little bit different. I just thought that might be a cool thing to do. Here's a different kind of editor, that sort of thing. So awesome. So I'm going to make you a little tent card and tag and stick you in there if you're okay with that.
I'm up for it. That's fine.
Perfect. Thank you, Ruth. Okay. All right, Solomon, can you, oh, sorry.
So wait a minute.
no,
Wait a minute. Wait
go
a
ahead.
minute. Two of our 3 sessions are on the 29th, or is the overcoming imposter syndrome on the 28th?
I gotta look it up. I'm really sorry that I got those wrong. I think it's Saturday. I think there's 2 on Saturday. I don't think the imposter syndrome is the same day as the meet and greet. We don't have anything on Thursday. I do know that.
So 2 on Friday and 1 on Saturday.
No, 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. The imposter syndrome is Saturday morning.
Okay.
What time
All
on
right, but
Saturday
the
morning?
editor meet and greet is definitely Friday.
Yep, the editor meet and greet is that time. That's the right time slot on Friday. And
overcoming imposter syndrome is the morning of Saturday the 30th.
Yep, Saturday
And
the 30th, 10:15 to 11:15. Yes.
All right,
So
and mine is on the 30th at 2:45.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so
one Friday, 2 Saturday.
okay,
So you want to add resumes to the editor meet and greet?
I think because we have the space in a room and they're giving us, there's nobody there afterwards. I think it's a great place to do it. We can talk about, here's
2 issues with it. One is that's not the focus of the session. So it's not what people are expecting or coming for. And 2, last time we ran out of time with the editors.
what we could do, if you guys think it's appropriate, we could have a handout with a couple of links. I can't remember what we did as a link for the resume webinar, but if there is one, we can do that, and I can provide a link for stuff I've used, stuff that I've written about resumes. And so then we don't have to discuss it, but people still get that from it. And if we end up with extra time at the end of the session, we could spend a few minutes on it. But I agree that the session as a whole isn't about resumes.
Yeah, and I don't want the editor part that Ruth is involved with to just be resumes at all. My idea was simply because Susan, we are going to have 2 hours. We're going to have, it's set for 90 minutes. Last year we had 55 minutes, and there's nobody there after us. So we've basically got a 2-hour session. I've already told our editors this. And people might leave after the 90 minutes, but maybe they'll stay. So I just thought it might be a good thing, not necessarily, oh, bring your resume, because you're right, and that isn't the focus, but just the sort of mistakes that Ruth might see when people pitch, right? When you pitch and if you're not super concise or grammatically correct, people will write you off before they even look at your pitch. So
but that's not a resume, that's a pitch.
Yeah, I'm not focusing on just pitches or just resumes. I'm talking about an editor who is editing what you write and how you come across when you are sending pitches, when you're sending your resume and your pitch to somebody to get a job. We don't have to do that. If it's an issue, I just want to move on. We don't have to do it. That's okay if everybody is not. It just was an idea. I thought it would be a good place to sort of use Ruth's expertise for editing. Her, obviously not accepting pitches, but the kind of editing that Ruth does.
I think it's a good idea to include it. If you're saying this is not the majority of the time.
No, it would be
it wouldn't.
And it could
wouldn't be at all.
It could also be the final or the end of the session, so that if we if the other editors use up the whole 90 minutes, it could be the tail end of the session to keep people there for a little longer. But I
Yep.
wouldn't want it to take the place of any of the people who might be hiring our colleagues.
I agree. I agree. And there might be some people, and I already told the editors this, there's going to be some people who might not want to switch groups. They might want to stay and talk to the LA Times editor the entire time. We're not going to force people to switch. We're just going to say, okay, let's switch groups. But if they don't want to talk to the editor from Scientific American, okay, don't. And if people are like, you know what, I need help with this, I'm going to go talk to Ruth, then they can. It's very informal. I don't want it to be like a stressful, people are nervous talking to editors, I don't want any of that. So I'm just trying to keep it super informal. And we had talked about using Ruth's expertise with editing somewhere in the conference. And, it might be a good place to do it.
Thank you.
The QR codes. Solomon, are you on mute right now? Can you talk to us?
I am unmuted now.
Okay, awesome. So I said we need someone to spearhead the QR codes and assign these to the handouts for each session, but we are assigning you this, Solomon.
Okay.
I am assigning this to you. Solomon and I talked about this a little while ago, so that's why I'm not actually putting him on the spot. He knows this was coming. So what we need from Ruth, and I guess, yeah, for me, for the meet and greet, and actually Solomon's helping me out with the imposter syndrome. So he actually has the document for the imposter syndrome, the handout. And then Ruth's, if there's any handouts that you have, Ruth, and then if you have handouts for like resume tips, that sort of thing that we can have at the table, any of that kind of stuff. What we want is those documents in the Google Docs, saved, make them look nice. Other people are going to read these. It's not just internal for us.
Right.
This is going to be sent out to our members. And then send the link to that document to Solomon when it is final and finished and good to go. Solomon's going to create a QR code. And then Solomon, are you going to print those out? How are you going to do that? Or you don't know yet?
Well, I figure what I would do is put the QR code, first of all, on you guys' document so that you have access to it in case you need it.
Okay.
And then we can print them out. We can print out a sheet where they're all big enough on one sheet so that we can have a master sheet in case something happens and we don't have 30 pieces of paper floating around. And then
Good
we can
idea.
print one per each. Because they're not big, they don't need to be big for you to be able to see them.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So I'll have some printed stuff, a packet with me when I go there.
Okay.
And then,
I just want to make sure that for the meet and greet, especially, that we do not have that QR code on a master list at the Freelance Corner starting Thursday.
None of the master list stuff will be at the Freelance Corner.
Okay, because I don't want that. I don't want people to, oh, I got this. I don't need to come to the meet and greet. I got all these contacts. So that is something that the people who come to the meet and greet will get at the end of the meet and greet.
Yeah, so like last year, we didn't release any of that stuff until the beginning of their actual session or the end of the session. Because it's an addendum that you get as a treat, for being at the session to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want people to skip out on it. So I actually am not going to have a document for, I might have a document for you for the actual people who are the editors who show up in person, but the pitching guidelines, I'm just going to send you the link for that QR code. Hazel, what do you think about having a QR code for the fellowship database? Do we want to sort of promote that too?
For the upcoming deadlines, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll send that out too. That can probably be at the Freelance Corner, and I guess we can, at the editor meet and greet, we can give them that link there too. That's probably the most appropriate place to do that.
Right.
Okay. Moving on, the flyer handout. Ruth made a flyer. I think she sent it to all of us, like listing the events times. I like that idea a lot. I also want to include, I'll just take what you have, Ruth, and add to it. I'm going to put how to join the freelance community, our email address, that sort of thing.
Good idea.
I was going to print copies, and I think we can just do like 4 to a page, and I just cut them. But how many do you think we need? Like, what are your thoughts on copies?
If you want them to be at the freelance corner, I would say maybe 50 per day.
I agree about that.
Okay, what do you think about, that's how many we'll have at the freelance corner, but do you think that we should have those for each of this? Well, no, because the Saturday afternoon session will be over, but maybe the Friday session, maybe the editor meet and greet, we have some there on hand too for the people who come there.
Sure.
That's not a bad idea.
Okay.
And whatever doesn't get picked up can go to the freelance corner for the morning.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I'll work on that. Solomon's doing the QR codes. Don't forget to fill out the document that Susan sent over on arrivals. Susan, when is that? How do we, when everybody fills it out, we can see it? Is that how it works?
No, I need to, once I link it to a Google Sheets, then I can send the Google Sheet out, which will have everything listed then.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay. Okay. So everybody on the call, I don't know if you were here, Susan, when we said that everybody on the call is going to the conference except with the exception of Chris. So all of us should fill out that form that Susan sent, except you, Chris, obviously. So, oh wait, no, he does need to fill it out, right? He just has to say, I'm not going.
Well, if he wants, yeah, I mean, I can kind of add that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get an idea of who's going and who's not. And if people are coming in at the same time, you know, just
you
for
have that
planning
as an option
purposes.
as to whether you're not going or not. You can
Chris
indicate.
already filled it out.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Before Stephanie left, she suggested sending thank you cards to.
Class. Yeah. So,
Mute, please.
I'll ask you.
I think I can mute him. I think I can mute him. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm muting him. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I'm really sorry about my lighting too.
Suggested sending thank you cards.
Yeah, so the to all the speakers of our sessions, we need somebody who can volunteer to do this. Maybe somebody who has a little bit, maybe, I don't want to say less, but maybe somebody who's not moderating sessions.
Well, wouldn't it make more sense to have the session moderators do that for each session?
Well, getting the cards, bringing them, getting them signed by all of us. Do we want to do that? Getting them signed by all of us?
Do we really need individual signatures? Why not just?
No, we don't have to. We can do it. There's, we can just do it from the moderator, maybe? Is that how we want to do it?
From the moderator on behalf of the freelance community.
Okay.
I don't think we all need to sign them individually.
Okay. Okay, so we can then, yeah, I guess the moderator can.
I actually have a stash of thank you cards that I use for client communications. So I can bring a batch of those with me and give them to the other moderators.
Okay, and that the other moderators are me. So that would be great.
All right, and you might need to get your own for the meet and greet because I won't be here for. Well, no, wait a minute, I will be. Yeah, I'll be here for.
I was thinking we would mail them. Should we give them to them in person?
I think Solomon is trying to say something. I'm not too sure.
Okay. Hazel, can you help me out with this? I'm not in the Zoom. I can't see anything on the Zoom.
Yeah, I think he's
muted.
Desperately trying
I'm asking him to unmute. Sorry, I didn't see it before.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Somebody was getting out of my car. I was going to say, you could just address it from the freelance board.
Yeah. I think
that's all it has to do.
Yeah, let's just make it specific to the board because we're the ones that are, thanking them for coming and having them there
Yeah.
and or working with them. And then that would be enough. And then, are we printing these on like different types of cards, or what are we printing these on?
I've already got pre-printed thank you cards that I can bring.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then I was going to ask.
And I think the question is, do we hand them to them on the day, or do we mail them?
I think I think email is better to mail them. I think giving something in person at the end of their segment is a more personal way of saying thank you. We all have hosts for each segment. So if the host just gives them the thank you card on behalf of the board members, and any board members in the room stands up and acknowledges them, that's it.
Okay. I like giving them out at the end of each session.
Perfect. That makes it easier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's nothing to track, and then all we have to do is send thank you emails later.
Perfect. Okay.
If that.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, are we doing freelance buttons?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Ruth ordered 100, so she's bringing them. Well, she's mailing them, some to Hazel and some to Susan, and they're bringing them.
Okay. Okay.
The freelance fellows, I just want to make sure that we are every one of us who is there, really making a point to going up and speaking to the fellows, making them feel welcome, and included in everything. If you see them and you're getting ready to go to the happy hour, ask them, hey, come with me. Are you going to the happy hour? Just to make sure they're going to have this program too, but just to make sure that everybody is aware, or the three fellows are aware of all of the events that we're hosting, and that they feel a part of it.
Do they get a special ribbon for their badges?
I believe they do.
Oh, cool. Okay. I didn't remember.
Yeah, I was going to say we could. Oh, go ahead, Hazel. Sorry.
No, you go.
I was going to say too, what we can do is, as we script our segment, we can make sure that we recognize any fellows that are in the room. I mean, that should be at the top of the script.
Good
Not
idea.
just because we want to recognize the fellows, but because we want people to see that there's value in the fellowship, and that we recognize them, and then that
that's a great idea, Solomon.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
And you can get it done in the beginning. If they're not in the room, then you skip it. But if they are in the room, we make sure we introduce them and recognize them, and then you move on.
I have a suggestion about something. The fellows last year were different from each other, and I felt like they needed and wanted different things from the board or from the freelance community at the conference. And so I was going to suggest that maybe one board member should be assigned to each fellow to check in with them periodically, just to make sure that everything was fine with them. I tried to do it last year and I failed miserably because I was trying to keep up with all three, and that was difficult. But I know that Sergi, as a longtime SPJ member and somebody who's flitted around a bunch from between Florida and Louisiana, she knows a lot of people already, or she knew a lot of people already. And so it was, she really required much of anything from us. But she came and showed her face at the Freelance Corner and smiled and participated.
Great company.
That was really good. And I did check in with Clayton periodically just to make sure that he wasn't kind of lost in the weeds. And I sort of messed up with Hanan, I think. And did not check in with her enough. So I was going to suggest that a possibility might be to look for somebody with a common interest, just to, not to be in their face all the time, or not to take a burden on, but just to check in with them. Yes, Solomon.
I think that's a good idea. I think but maybe the way to streamline that is I'm the co-chair, so I'm supposed to execute the chair's vision here. So if you have a sheet of the people that we have and a picture, because I have a hard time with names sometimes. What we can do is when I get there, the worst you can do is call someone once a day if you have time, and make that time to make sure you're okay. Are you getting what you need? Are you at the things? Are we going to see you at our event today? And then that's the end of the conversation. And then you say hello throughout the day. I think we don't want to be overwhelming when we're following them around because, even though they're fellows, these are not like college kids. They're like adults. So they're not going to want a shepherd, So I think a phone call at the end of the day to acknowledge them. And if you can give me the sheet and that has a picture and a little bit of information, I can read that. I can do that. And then that takes that away from anybody else having to do that. Because that really should be, that seems like something that really should be from either the people who are head of the board that chose them or like the chair or the co-chair.
Yeah,
I think it's something we can all do. If you can share the photos, that way if I see one of them and I recognize them from their photo, I'll make that extra effort to say hi.
Certainly. Yeah, I think we should all have that. But I mean, as far as making sure that it's done at the beginning of the day, I can do that. That's a 5-minute phone call for each person.
Yeah, and it's
hopefully they're together when I call them. So,
that would be great. I will provide such a sheet.
I think, Solomon, I think that and this is just coming from somebody who despises phone calls. I wonder if just a text, it would be easier for you, but it also you could check in with more than just a call in the morning. Like, hey, are you going to this? We'll see you at the banquet tonight. Just kind of quick texts here and there.
That works perfect. That works perfect.
And then, and then if they've got a minute, they can, and you could say, call me if you have any questions. And one of them might, but there might be some who are just like, they like that you've checked in, but they're having coffee with a friend. They don't want to answer a phone call,
Fair enough. I'll do text then. And then I'll say, if you have any questions or you need anything from me, here's my phone number. You can call me. Here's my email. And I'll text you again later when the next event starts or whatever. So text is fine. Because again, you're right. They're not kids. They don't need anybody to call them and make sure they got,
make sure they have their lunch money.
Yeah. I did not realize that so many people hate phone calls. I prefer phone calls because I
love phone calls.
Yeah.
I hate texting.
I hate them.
Oh wow.
I
get it though. Now that you say it, because it does suck up time as opposed to just reading a text.
Yeah. I talk too much as it is, so I don't pick up my phone.
Sorry. Okay, Solomon, I'm going to put you in charge of that then. Okay. I mean, you volunteered. It's not like I'm putting you in charge. You're volunteering to be in charge of that. So we'll get you, we should, Hazel, if you can give everybody the pictures, just send it over in an email. I don't think we need to print them out or anything.
No, the only person that would.
I think we can look at them in an email and remember.
Okay.
Some of us I know already know Dina.
Yeah. A connection that I'd just like to make, Susan, the fellow from LA, is her name Haley? Did I get that right? I think her name is Haley. She's really into sports journalism. And I know that you've got a bunch of sports stories. And Solomon, haven't you done some photos of sporting events?
No, you picked the wrong nerd today.
No, I think that was Stephanie. Yeah. You're right.
As a nerd, that's the only thing I've never done. Sports, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this. This is good. So we'll get a picture. We'll make sure that Solomon has the email. Other people can text also. I don't want them to be bombarded by all of us every hour, but feel free if you haven't met somebody and you want to meet them, just grab their number from the email.
Susan's trying to unmute herself, by the way. But yes, I agree. I'm just saying that as a standard, so that it's done and we're not like running around asking each other, have we contacted the person yet? It's sometime, before lunch, I will have sent them a text, at least on the first and second day, hey, how you doing? Glad to see you here. When will we see you at our next event? If you need anything, call me. That's it. So that's done. Yeah.
And if you do it in the morning before the day gets underway and they're tired and whatever at the end of the day, that's perfect.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Doesn't
guys.
have to be first thing in the morning, but at sometime in the morning is ideal.
Yeah, before lunch, before stuff gets started, you know. But unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to go because I am parked illegally, and this guy is looking at me like crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't have parking ticket reimbursement in the budget.
Oh, man, because I need it.
Yeah, and Susan, I'm asking you to unmute yourself. Do you see it? Is there something you need to click on?
No,
gotcha.
Okay. They had asked if covering sports and I couldn't answer.
Sorry.
So if you need anything else from me, I will watch the recording, and then you can text me and not call me. Anything else that is pertinent or immediate.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And I don't know if you got to see this chat, Solomon, just before you go. Susan made a really good point. She said, I agree. I also hate phone calls. She said, it's about being an introvert, especially at a conference. Having to talk to someone on a phone call after an all-day conference is draining. And I am with her on that.
But we're not talking about the end of the day. We're just talking about a quick
that's even
message in the morning.
I understand what she's saying though. The first day maybe, but even after that Thursday, you're drained already.
No, I get it. Like I'm talkative.
Yeah, with all the people, it's a lot.
It ain't fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you can give me a text message to say, hey, how you doing? I'm glad to see you. As opposed to a phone call that eats up my coffee time.
Exactly. I love text. I love people who text.
I still would rather y'all call me if you can. All right. So if you can call me. I'm gonna go though before this guy comes over.
Okay. All right. Bye, Solomon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Bye. And then just other ideas, I thought we should have a prominent display in the freelance corner that tells members how to join the freelance community.
Yep.
And how to join us on Facebook and X. I'm hoping that we can make that visible and they can just read it and join and get online right there and like us on Facebook. I don't have the capacity to make another flyer or anything. We could just write it. If somebody wants to take that on, great. It's just an idea. We don't have to do that. We can just
I can make one.
Okay, awesome, Ruth. Thank you, Ruth, for volunteering. All right, Susan, you're not muted now, are you?
No, I'm unmuted now.
Okay. Yeah, if you look at the chat, it's a good yep, I'd read Chris, same thing, introvert, would rather get a text. And Susan said a call can almost be intrusive. So yes, I do agree with those. I'm on the no call. And I say that, and an hour ago I called Hazel out of the blue without even telling her. I'm like, Hazel. Anyway, okay. So that's it. And then the other thing is just that we're gonna be tired. This is a lot. We do a lot to put leading up to this. This has been going on since March when we started pitching these sessions. We're going to have a little bit of tension and impatience and whatever. People are going to ask us questions that might seem like, oh, it's right here, right? Weird questions or questions that are right in front of their face or that they're not understanding, or they might say things that because they're nervous. But I just want to make sure that we just really go out of our way to be super respectful, kind, very patient. We just give them grace, understand that some of these people are students, some of these people are introverts and are very nervous talking to anybody. I just want to make sure that we've got a very open and welcoming vibe at the freelance community. Freelance corner, also in our sessions, but that, mostly in the freelance corner is what I'm talking about. And happy hour, any of the events that we do also together. So that's it. I'm about as on edge as I can get right now. And I will put that aside. And so just lots of patience and lots of whatever. That's what I'm packing. So upbeat and positive. That's all I'm asking. And now I feel like we need a drum roll for Ruth's update.
All right, I have finished working on all of the chapters of the guide. Solomon is going to write a short piece for me about AI. And I'm going to do one more new section about legal issues that we're looking at, in particular, everything involving the ABC type legislation on both state and federal levels. And Susan, if it's okay with you, when I have that done, which I hope will be by the weekend, can I send it to you for you to look at? Because you're the one who's been the most affected and the most involved in that whole issue.
Ruth, she just stepped out for just a second. She said BRB.
Oh
So
yeah. All right. I'll ask her later.
Okay.
It would help. I just don't know how we want to do this now that most of the updates have been made. Do I ask headquarters to post the new versions? Do I put them together and maybe have a couple of no. What do I do, Hazel?
So I just want to, because I need to step out for a second. What's happening is every time I mute myself, it's not letting me unmute myself.
I don't know how to fix
it.
I don't know
It is
how to
saying that
fix
the host has made it so you cannot unmute yourself.
I think what happened, I clicked the button that says allow participants to unmute themselves. I think what happened is before I got on and someone, I don't know, Chris got on immediately when I got on. And I think once one person joins, it sticks to all those things. And the default setting is that I can't allow people to unmute themselves. If I can unclick those before anyone joins, this is what I learned over the months of doing this. But I need to get in 5 or 10 minutes before everybody else to make that happen. And Chris joined right away. And I think that's what's doing it today.
So
okay,
on the
Susan,
AB5
did you
stuff,
hear what I asked?
It's very complicated. I mean, I can look at it, but it's very complicated.
No, I know that. I just want to make sure that there's no glaring errors in what I come up with.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So Hazel, what do I do once I have those last 2 pieces in hand? Do you know?
Sadly, no.
Do you know whom I would contact at headquarters?
We're not going to have Billy hand code them the way.
No.
I mean, I coded most of the guide that's on the web right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's ridiculous. And we can tap some money from the freelance fund for technology purposes. And unfortunately, I really don't think we can get it done before convention.
Well,
Much as I would love to.
Well, in that case, why don't I come up with something that says the updates have been done, we are waiting on the technology aspect, and we will announce the new versions as soon as possible through the freelance community itself.
Why don't you think it can be done, Hazel, before?
Because I think asking headquarters to do anything, including how do I need to pay the money and then they'll reimburse me from the freelance fund?
I see.
Or what? And I have asked the question twice already. And Jennifer just does not have the capacity to tackle those kinds of things when 9 board members are all calling her every day about this, that, and the other thing. And I mean,
they're not going to want to be bothered this close to the convention.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't know. That explains it. I didn't know like all the different parts that had to be
What we can do, Stacy, if you're going to do the 4-up version with our events, I can send you language.
Say it again, the what version?
The 4-up, the 4 copies on a sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Version of our events. I can send you a sentence to include either with each of those 4 items or just on the back of each 4th.
Yep.
So an update on the guide.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Should we list a time like far out from when we really think it's gonna be, like November 1st?
No, we'll just say as soon as possible, because we don't know when we'll have the technology back up to get it done, and I don't want to promise something and not be able to meet the promise.
I would just say, look for it.
Yeah.
We'll get it to you as soon as.
Okay, yeah, if you send me that, I'm gonna use the other stuff that you sent, and, you know, kind of get everything together. I just wanna, Susan, are you there still? I'm gonna ask you to unmute again. I think every time you mute yourself, it locks you up.
You're just gonna hear driving noise.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, just in case, Chris and Ginny, I'm asking you to unmute. You don't have to. I'm just, I guess, making it so that you can, just in case you wanna jump in and shout at us. I wanna go back just to make sure, because I got a little bit, I'm exhausted right now, and I got a little bit sassy, and I want to make sure that I sort of was short with Susan, and I'm sorry for that, Susan. It certainly was nothing to do personally with you at all. But I want to go back to the editor meet and greet when Susan was questioning, like, why this isn't the right forum. And I want Susan to be able to talk about that now.
If it's an editor meet and greet, it should be an editor meet and greet. Like, if you start throwing in other stuff and people don't know, it's like a story. If you're expecting this in a story and then you add a bunch of other stuff, it loses focus.
Yeah.
And so that's my deal. I think having, you know, like Ruth said, having a, you know, a handout for afterwards, I think that's totally fine. My other issue is that I have never, ever, ever sent a resume with a pitch, ever.
Yeah, I have.
I sent a portfolio with a pitch, but never a resume.
But
so I don't think it's applicable to everybody also. So
it might not be, it might not apply to everybody, Susan, but in 40 odd years, I have often been asked for a resume. And I've also seen in job listings from a couple of my professional groups, some prospective clients still request a resume. So I think it's something that does not have to take up very much, if any, time in the actual session, but giving people a resource for tips on how to make their resumes and or pitches more effective makes sense for that session. It just doesn't have to be part of the presentation.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that adds value. It's another added thing that we can offer that I think
and
will be
it shows that
valuable.
It shows that we've done a session on that topic, that there's a resource they can turn to when they have the time and want to be bothered. Again, it doesn't have to be part of the formal presentation, but I think it's more common than not that people are asked for a resume. And you know, nowadays people point to their website, they point to their LinkedIn profile, they point to all kinds of other ways of showing who they are and what they do. But we can't just ignore the fact that resumes still have a role.
Sorry, I had a little bit of an issue. Were you saying that we would would that be a handout there then, or we would just get up and talk about it?
I can make it a handout. I think that's the most practical.
Perfect. Okay. And actually, because that's the first session, well, it's a Friday session, they'll still have all day Saturday. You could say, I'll be there Saturday. I'll be in the freelance corner most of the day, you know, come and see me, or, you know, all of us. So that would be good. Okay. So I think that's a happy medium. And Susan, again, I'm sorry that I was short. Certainly, you know how much I love you. It's nothing to.
No, I didn't even notice.
I felt short and I was like, oh, I'm a jerk. Okay. So is there anything else? You guys, we did this in an hour and 9 minutes.
The one question I have, because I've been holding it, is do we want to put ourselves on Blue Sky, which just reached 1 million users?
Is that one of the alternatives to Twitter?
That is the alternative to Twitter that was created by the people who created Twitter.
I don't see a reason why not.
And they're slowly trying to expand it. So like they're not, but it's where I know for sure it's where like scientists are going. Once they leave Twitter, they're ending up there. And so you need an invite code to get in, and I have an extra invite code, and we could just set up SPJ Freelance and start building it, because the Twitter implosion is not ending.
I think that's a great idea.
Me too.
And I think Mastodon has actually lost membership, or people aren't using it, and more people are going to Blue Sky. So
I think nobody wants to be associated with being a dinosaur unless they're 6.
Well, the nice thing about
14 and she loves it.
The nice thing about Blue Sky is essentially Twitter and what Twitter looked like before, like early on. So it's in chronological order. You see what, it's not an algorithm showing you stuff. It's literally chronological order of posts, and it doesn't allow for GIFs or GIFs or whatever you call them. You can post a photo, or you can post a post, or you can post a link. That's it.
Let's do it.
But I have, so I can work with Stacy and because I think they send like a confirmation email to your email. So, but anyway, so I have the invite, and I will send it to somebody so we can set that up.
Okay. Awesome. I also want to give a quick shout out to Ginny for taking over the, forget about your award, Ginny. This is the real MVP right here, is that you've taken over the newsletter flawlessly. And I'm so, so thankful. And I do hope it's temporary. I do hope we can get somebody at the conference. Maybe one of our fellows will step in. I'm also hoping they're going to take over the job searching that I've been doing. So thank you for sticking it out with no complaints and doing it. And you've done a great job. And I appreciate you.
You're all very welcome. Even though my computer
I gotta go. I have to go and ask my neighbor to quit the hell with the noise.
Can you record yourself asking him? I want to hear it.
It's a her, and she knows good and damn well she's supposed to stop drilling and banging by 7, because I'm being nice by letting her go as late as 7. And here she goes again. So
okay. Good luck. Good luck.
See you all soon.
All right. Bye.
Night.
I really do want to see a video of that. I would love to. All right, I'm going to stop recording. I don't think we need to talk anymore about the convention. I'm going to stop recording. And then we can, chat for a second or say our goodbyes. I almost just hit end, so I would not.